I know you're not a superhero guy, but you have Spider-Man's powers, right? That's
Okay.
it. You're the best athlete. You can bench press
And
a
his
car, and you you have the suit if you need it. But
I don't have the
shoot,
body for that.
You do.
Then you just get his powers, which is super
Yeah.
strength and just unexplainable agility, athletic ability, dexterity, etc.
Okay.
What do you do with this power?
Do I have does Spider-Man have web power, or is that a machine?
It actually varies by Spider-Man. For the purpose of this, you have web power.
Okay. I keep the web power stuff 100% under wraps. Don't let anybody know about that stuff, because if people realize that, they're not going to trust anything else. And then I would really just pick whatever sport I wanted to dominate in. And for me, I love hockey, so I would be the greatest NHL player in history.
Ever.
I could be the best goalie. Yep. My save percentage, I would have to every so often let goals in to make it seem reasonable.
No, fuck it, blow them out of the water. You'd be the highest scoring goalie of all time, because you'd leave the net a lot. You would play offense with your team.
In goalie
you would always be playing. The net would always be empty. You'd be over there playing. No, you wouldn't use goalie equipment. You'd be light. We'd be the bare minimum. Whatever's
you
the
have to wear
least
goalie
they'll let you
equipment,
wear.
Taylor?
You would have to wear a form of it, but I bet I could wear like super small, lean pads. And, the goalie can't carry the puck past the middle line.
There'd be commercials about how your pads are, how we always
your
go on
slap
about
shots
Brock
could
Lesnar's
score
gloves?
from half ice.
Oh, yeah. I just play with a right-handed stick so I can fire slap shots from a little beyond center ice. Dude, you're right. Why am I limiting myself to one position? I should be a forward who moonlights as a goalie when necessary.
You play a man up. We
play the whole game with the goalie pulled.
You should play whatever position you feel like that day. Like,
because I'm the coach also.
Taylor, what is the record for consecutive shutouts? Because that should be your rookie debut.
Oh yeah,
you should just lead with like 11 shutouts.
Dude, if I started my career with 25 shutouts in a row, there'd be like an FBI investigation. There'd be there's no fucking way.
So here's a little fun thought: the fact that we all come up with the same conclusion about what we would do with any sort of superhuman powers is that we'd use them for our own financial gain. Who's to say? No, hang on. Who's to say that there aren't among us a few superhumans, and they went, and their dad was like, son, you can bend steel bars. You can jump over the barn. You killed the bull last week with a punch. You know what you've got to do. He's like, fight crime? No.
You're starting safety
Finish
for the
college.
Chicago or for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah. You're going to ball, son. You're going to ball hard.
What's your favorite sport? What's your favorite position? Anything. Pick it. Just whatever you want to be the best home run dinger swinger ever.
Soccer or
basketball.
Baseball. You might be right about basketball because they get the shoe
endorsements. Yeah,
because baseball players get the contracts.
Soccer, tennis. Tennis players make so much fucking money. Like those top, Nadal.
Spider-Man would be so good at tennis.
You can do
tremendous at tennis.
You can play one, and they have.
I like the idea of being a wide receiver and having really sticky hands, catching balls that are 6 inches out of reach and just bringing them back.
You'd get caught. You'd quickly they'd slow-mo and draw a yellow highlighter around the
You're 100% right. I would get caught. I don't know.
It came to me.
They already let you basically put glue on your hands. Like those gloves that they're using are so designed to stick. They wouldn't stick to a table if you stuck them on there, or they don't stick to you, but they're designed to stick to those balls. I watched a whole thing about it the other day about how they used to use that crazy stick 'em or something. Mm-hmm. They showed those pictures, black and white pictures of football players on the sidelines, and they're covered with this cartoon-like glue.
Used to get all over the uniforms.
Yeah, they're covered in it. The whole reason they outlawed it wasn't, hey, it's not fair, you're making too many catches. It was look, absurd. Everything's sticky. You gotta stop.
Like those baseballs from 120 years ago where they're just jet black because they have so much tobacco spit rubbed into them and
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Those disgusting spitballs. Yeah, sports have changed a lot, I guess, over the years. We were just saying before the show that my version of 4v4 basketball should be implemented. It would just be a better sport. And
where they have knives.
5 is too many. Yeah, and knives. Yeah, 4v4 knives.
They need to either make basketball 4v4 or make the court bigger to force people to have to actually run.
I don't think there was a time when I thought that people were going to become heroes. I thought that we would have that, like legitimately. I don't mean like as a kid. I mean, a few years ago, it seemed like superheroes were so popular in media that I thought maybe we'd get some vigilantes out there. And my theory is this: there are vigilantes out there, crazy kooks, if you want to call them that, probably just guys in rubber suits with weaponry who are doing shit. And we don't hear about it because if they reported on it, it would cause more cases. It would be like a Batman scenario where if you see the Joker on TV and you're like inspired to be the Riddler now, and that propagates on and on.
I think they're villains or heroes or both.
I think they're both. I think there are definitely wannabe heroes who are essentially just crazed people out there who are armed and in suits and running around in special cars with lights on the top, claiming they're enforcing laws.
What if you want to be a villain, but you don't want to go
it's the police.
All in to the bad? Like, what's a good starter level villain?
You mean
like something more intense than like Graffiti Man, but not
Lockpick Man.
You're not really hurting people too badly, like Small Claims Court and like some sort of.
Can I be
dog shit in a flaming bag, maybe something like that?
Yeah, the prankster, and they're all innocent. They're all at the end. It's like no, but we're having
Glue
a good
Man.
time, aren't we?
Just you glue things together that are, now it's annoying for people. Doors and
sticky stuff on doorknobs, handrails, stuff like that.
Sticky stuff,
pretty fucked up.
I'm the cart anarchist, and I go to grocery stores and I take all the carts out and I push them everywhere, and then I get back in my car, drive away.
Yeah, then put jelly on the handle as well.
Jelly on the handle, scare everyone.
Ooh, what
I steal money from the Santa Claus.
What if you knocked the wheel so they all did the wiggle thing that grocery carts do? Right, that's grocery cart vandal.
You could. That's almost too low. That's almost too,
that's too much.
Petty. That's too petty. Someone needs to look at our mischief and go, this is going to take 20, 25 minutes.
What superhero would you want for your city, for example, Taylor, in Missouri, where things are terrible and scary, and it's essentially, society's falling apart.
St. Louis.
Hiding their homes
great.
at night. I'm not
St.
done
Louis
tearing
sucks.
down your homeland. It's just a hellscape of sin, debauchery, and a lack of basic human principles.
I have my answer
being implied. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be Hammerman.
Hammerman.
Yeah.
So
but
he takes
no. It's in the same vein as Batman because he's like, now they will know what I fear. And so, like, he doesn't use hammers, but he is emblazoned with a hammer to show that Aqua doesn't know this. St. Louis City has a slew of they have a hammer murder problem. People are killed with a spat of claw hammer related issues. And so, if we had sort of a Batman thing with the hammerist,
which they claim are unrelated, and we come right back around to the possibility there are supervillains out there, and yet hammer murder after hammer murderer. Clearly, MC Hammer is at. Ham murderer is out there killing people, and the police don't want to talk about him. There was a movie where Shaq, I think, played a superhero called Steel, and I think his weapon of choice was a big sledgehammer.
Nice.
Yeah,
it's a cool weapon for a superhero.
I think you want the actual Batman for St. Louis, and the reason why twofold. One, he really focuses on the neighborhood level crime. Right. So you don't want Iron Man or Superman because they're not friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, for example. But the reason I'm picking Batman over Spider-Man is the other thing that Bruce Wayne can do, which is money. People think of Bruce Wayne as the Batman that goes and catches bad guys. They forget he's also the super wealthy guy that like solves homelessness and invests in the community, improves the schools. Spider-Man can't do that. So Batman's the one you want. He's got cash and crime fighting prowess.
He almost never does that, though.
He's too cocky.
He's usually using it as a flex for pussy and stuff, right? Like they'll be like, "Sir, your whores can't be naked in our fountain." And he's like, I just bought this building.
That does rock. Like
he
that's
did
pretty
that.
Cool.
That's the Nolan Batman. He literally does that in the first. That's the best movie.
Batman. So
he has 2 whores with him.
No, Batman would go into East St. Louis in his Batmobile, all confident, and he'd get robbed. He'd get killed.
Bulletproof.
The Wayne Foundation is...
They call him a racist is what would actually happen.
Constantly invest in the neighborhood. Batman's Industries are the major employer in the neighborhood. You need Batman in St. Louis. You need Bruce Wayne and Batman.
One in the same.
Yeah, Yeah.
I saw that there was a
Definitely
hero
not
on the New York
Superman.
subway yesterday who choked a crazed man unconscious, and I guess he just kept on
Subways.
choking him
I never hear
unconscious
good stories on subways.
Well, it depends on.
Did he kill him?
He killed him. He killed him. The guy was crazy. He was a crazy homeless person screaming and such.
So back when I did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I used to like live for this shit. In the same way that gun nuts just like scour the internet for times guns were used for good. I would scour the internet for times that like rear naked chokes were used for good. And one of the things that goes wrong a lot is when the victim is on something. If they're on drugs or alcohol, that guillotine choke that you've done 1,000 times before is more deadly than you expected it to be.
Yeah,
so if someone like showed up at your jiu-jitsu gym and like they'd been drinking, they'd be like, no, get the hell out of here. You not safe. Or would they be like, you arrogant piece of shit, come on in.
Oh, that's what I want to happen. New people would show up at the gym all the time and not recognize that they're bad at grappling, which is glorious. They'd be like, all right, 15-year-old skinny kid, go roll with that man. And the child would just manhandle him. And it's like, okay, that's our 4-month white belt. Do you want to work your way up the chain? Would you like to go with Woody next or someone who's really good? Not saying that me like Woody or someone who's really good. And I love toying with them. Or if somebody new had such a physical advantage, maybe he's in boot camp or something, that he's beating up on someone, he would get dealt with, and it's sweet. I saw a guy, he was beating up on a girl, right? So this is a really sweet Mormon couple, both blue belts, both good at this. But the wife, she was like this hot 115-pound woman, right? She can't beat even an untrained guy who's active duty army. Sure. And she was the only person he was getting the best of, right? He'd gone around, we had all had our turn with this freak who couldn't grapple. And then he gets to the girl and he's putting his forearm in her neck and just like grinding it and holding her down or whatever. Yeah, because he needed a win. And this is the only person he could beat. The girl. Well,
read the room.
Read the room.
Husband trains there too.
Flying elbow.
and he was just doing like takedown drills on this guy, picking him up, putting him down. And then, the guy didn't even want to go anymore, but the bell hadn't rang. He's just like, get up. There's more. And lessons were learned.
Yeah,
that reminded me so much of, we were maybe 11 years old, and I guess 11 or 12, and that's the age where they allow hitting to start being a thing in ice hockey. Before that, they don't allow it because, especially on ice, even a little kid can get a huge amount of speed and fuck somebody up. And by that point, I was a goalie, and so hitting was not part of my repertoire. And so I remember, though, one of the first practices where the head coach was like, all right, Taylor, you go in that net with the goalie coach. We're doing a hitting drill. And like part of me, I was like, oh, I knew this day would come. And I do feel lonely down here by myself, like with just me and the other goalie. And I watched as he lined up this big ex-hockey playing like coach, just had them skate as hard as they could, like behind the net. And he was there waiting for them. And he just knocked the shit out of them. Like put them on their ass.
He was the brick wall.
He was a brick wall just to get them used to what it would feel like to run into something with no give. It's not like a wall. He was putting them down in a way that wasn't going to hurt them. But I remember watching that and so quickly being like, I did make the right decision in being a goalie.
Oh yeah, you want to be in goal where it's safe.
It never occurred to me that you'd practice like checking or hitting in hockey for some reason. I never played that or any contact sport for that matter, really. I played a little baseball, but there's none of that. That's interesting. Yeah. I'm shocked.
It's weird to me because
how to hit. It was obvious.
Because you've got parents in baseball, right? Like I think the closest thing that ever came to a parent hurting a kid is the kid doesn't catch the ball and eats it. I've seen that happen. But in hockey, a parent has to hit a kid. It sounds like for the lesson to be given. So that's kind of weird because I mean, an average parent might be very judgmental about how many newtons of force are being applied to their son in this training. That was 2 newtons too much, you cocksucker. But then like a crazed person is just going to want to fight, right? Especially a hockey dad. Oh, you like hitting kids, do ya? Let me show you how they do it over
fucking
in
hoser. Yeah,
how to do it in the Michelob leagues.
The Michelob leagues. Yeah, it is. I was jealous I couldn't hit, but it was also kind of nice. Like that was the best part about being goalie was also the worst part. Like you are in such control of the game. Like it felt great and also felt shitty because sometimes it was like this was my fault.
You're like everybody's little brother as a goalie. Like, oh, did you hit our goalie? Did you get like? So if you stop in hockey, it shoots little ice like snow, right? And if you so much as snow the goalie, everyone tries to beat you up, and it's like, what? How big a pussy is your goalie that he can't get ice on him? But
it is annoying, man. It's cold and it gets in your eyes. Yeah. I don't like it.
The disrespect alone.
Then sometimes they stick when you're covering the puck and they stick their stick under your thigh in the meaty area and they rake back and forth with like trying to give you splinters. That shit hurts. Yeah, they're mean spirited.
when Taylor first told me that about the fiberglass splinters in your thighs,
oh god,
that's when I felt the same way I felt when I heard about the varsity football or baseball trip where they raped the kid with the Coke bottle. I was well, I won't be playing high school ball then, eh? I was like,
certainly won't.
Like you can only take so much hazing. I was like, I thought there'd be jock straps and running. And they're like, nah, dude, they put a Coke bottle up Chad's ass.
That kind of hazing is so upsetting. It's like, how are you better friends afterward because of that? Where it's like,
it wasn't a modern Coke bottle.
Couldn't you have gone through something else a little? Couldn't you have? Maybe they drop you off in the middle of the woods 2 miles from somewhere and you have to wander back. I don't know. Something not fucking putting in your ass. Like, because then you have to be like,
rape him on the bus.
This is my best friend. This is Jared. He's our all-star second line center. Used to be first line. Now he has issues. Like he's got a lot of psychological problems. This guy
could have been a great player.
A great player until he was
really had potential.
Abuse. Jesus.
There was
so you didn't. So Aqua, you only play baseball growing up. No other football.
I tried to play soccer and all that. I couldn't like run for a very long time. It's not my thing. And basketball, I just never knew what the hell was going on. I just get hit in the head with the ball all the time. Soccer too, just hit in the face with the ball. I'm just not super aware of like what a ball flying around a court is doing. It's just not. It was never really my thing.
Yeah, you just didn't have an interest in it.
I can bat in baseball. That's all I'm good at. I can hit the ball with a stick. I'm good at golf too. That's about it. Okay. And skateboarding. I got into skateboarding and that was my thing. No ball, no nothing.
How long?
Simple.
I guess when did you start skateboarding? As a young kid?
Yeah, like maybe like 6th or 7th grade, something like that. And that was like my thing. Like, I actually did a little skateboarding today for the first time in quite a while, and I suck. It was horrible. I was super out of breath and like could barely jump and scared, frankly. I just don't want to hurt myself.
How are the bones giving you these powers? Like, what do you got to do? You just got to keep them, or you got?
So what you do is, I want finger bones because those are going to fit inside my wand. You could grind the bones down too. That's what I would do. I'd grind the bones down and then sort of. No. I want them in a liquid, like a thick oil, like a gear oil that's clear, so that then they're sort of suspended in there. And then I want that inside my wand, and then I can do my dark magic, my dark
so you
savage magic
as the wand.
Yeah. But it's just like Harry Potter, how each wand has a magical item in its core, like a phoenix feather or a fucking unicorn hair, shit like that.
Yeah, no.
But I want the bones of a blackjack dealer in mine.
You're just unbelievably lucky. That's the only.
Oh, that's all it does. It just plays blackjack. The wand now. Fucking bullshit.
All I can do is count to 21 now.
When I found out I could never attain real magic, it was a sad day.
1, 2. Like,
when you're a kid and you believe that magic is real, like there's this possibility that there's a whole nother magical world around the corner, and then at some point in life you realize this is it. This is our only world we've got to deal with. There's no cupboard that we can go in and with Aslan in it. There's no under the the underside. None of that stuff's real. We can't swim at the bottom of a pond, come up on the other side in some secret garden. It doesn't exist.
I never had a phase of fun magic belief as a kid. Like I'd be like, is the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus real at like age 4? And my mom's like, no.
Shit.
And it's like, oh, okay. But like, so I didn't get that. I didn't get the fun made up fantasy stuff, but I did get like the scary, like, but hell, that's real. Like, and it's like, fuck. Well, that's not as good as Santa.
Not me. I was slow to figure out that I was uninteresting for a long time, right? So like little me hoped I had superpowers. And then when I clearly didn't, I was hoping maybe they would come on with puberty or something. So here I am at like 13. Like, you don't know for sure that I'm not a Jedi because I haven't hit puberty yet.
Yeah,
maybe it like cooks in. It could fire up. And then I do hit puberty. Still no superpowers. But
I used to spend a lot of time staring at the pull cord on the blinds in my bedroom, trying to move them with my mind, just like because that would be so easy to move that long cord.
Did you ever trick yourself? A slight breeze?
No, but I'm just like looking at it like believe. That's why I hate that John Travolta Phenomenon movie. I watched that and it made me think I could have those powers, and it was a lie. It's just a tumor.
I would do the same thing.
I never really thought about this stuff because I remember distinctly when I was about 5 years old, I'm in the kitchen and my dad tells me, he goes, I think I just mentioned something briefly like, oh, imagine if I could have superpowers or something. And he goes, never think that ever. Do not ever think that. I'm like, what? And he slams his hand on the table. He's like, when I was a kid, I thought I could fly. And I got up on the kitchen table and I jumped off and I landed on my face. And me being like a 5-year-old, I was like, oh God, I would never want to do that. And then from then on, I was like, yeah, I don't have superpowers. I don't want to jump off the table and land on my face.
See, the challenge is that these shows like Peter Pan, they're like, you can fly. You just have to truly believe, right? Mm-hmm. So your father clearly had some doubts based on Peter Pan logic, and that's why it didn't work. He needs to recreate the experiment, but this time believe more.
Too late.
Exactly. Well, my dad is 83 now, so maybe he shouldn't do that. But
I think your dad's being a bit of a pussy.
He's been saving up that power for 83 years. I don't know.
That is an old age for a
dad.
Old.
I'm 25. Age. He's old.
83. God damn. So like
maybe he is a wizard.
What was it like as a kid? Like was it hard for him to play with you and stuff?
He was 58 when he had me, yeah. I've never known my dad as a young person or as like a middle-aged person. I've only known him as an old person.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
Did you get away with extra stuff because he must have been pretty exhausted by the time you were 16.
Oh yeah. I mean, I remember a couple times when like he knew I smoked cigarettes and he knew I smoked weed. And one time I was outside of smoking the biggest joint and he comes out and he goes, that Marlboro smells really strong. And I'm there like, that is a joint. Like, oh, okay. And I'm like, yeah, this is why I got away with smoking weed when I was a kid, because he just didn't know.
He didn't know.
You have like brothers and sisters old enough to be your parents?
No, my sister's 1 year older than me.
What the fuck? Your father waited a while, but
why did he wait so long?
Got down to business.
My dad went to like an all-boys boarding school until he was 18, didn't like speak to a woman until he was like 20, started living his life as a young person in his like 30s.
Oh, he's gay.
Damn.
Oh.
Well, I mean, that is funny.
To real mean to this guy's dad here.
Waking up at 57 and being like,
all over him.
Oh no,
you gay an insult. I just made it a statement of sexuality.
It isn't their country. What are you going to be killed for that?
How old my mom? My mom's like 56 now, though. So
right. That
not
checks
too bad
out.
For him.
Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah.
Where as a kid, were you ever like annoyed that like you felt like, oh, my dad can't play with me the way other dads can, or you didn't even really register?
Nah, you know what? This is going to be really deep, but there was one time which really made me think, oh, fuck, my dad is old. Like, holy fuck, right? Mm-hmm. And this is like, I think I must have been like 7. So at this point, my dad's like 65 already. And we're going ice skating and he fell over. And like, he's hit his hip, right? And like, he's like, nah, he's telling me he can't ever go ice skating with me ever again. And I'm like, my dad is old. Shit.
Yeah, 7. Oh.
Yeah. Not just me when I'm 7.
Yeah, and your dad's like breaking his hip. God damn. That's usually when people are in this.
Was that what you said? Did you say he broke his hip?
No, he didn't break it. He just like really hurt it.
Okay.
But it was like one of them ones where it's like, fuck, old people hurt their hips, you know?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, it's like shit. Yeah.
Like it's so
but just him telling me that he could never go ice skating with me again was like the main thing of me being
it's
like,
a big finality to it. Is your father?
I think what he meant was, I'm never ice skating again.
How'd your father get a wife 30 years younger than him? Does he have money?
No, he doesn't even have money. I grew up with no money.
I
mean, like enough money to because he's old, he got a mortgage when it was really cheap. So we had a decent house for the amount of money they ended up having when I was born. But yeah,
when he got back from the Great War,
he must be big dick.
He built his house in 1930.
I'm not gonna lie. One time when I was a kid, I seen him walk past and it was pretty big, and I probably got his genetics. I'm not gonna like big myself up, but it's not bad. I get it.
You guys should measure off.
You got to see like what your balls would look like a century from now.
People told me to watch. They told me I should make my next one Logan, because apparently Logan's good.
So Logan is apart from this entire universe. Logan is essentially an alternate reality, an alternate telling of everything you've seen. It sort of discredits every other X-Men movie and makes them out to be like comic book stories written by Cyclops. And essentially Cyclops is propaganda, because in all of the comics, Cyclops is the leader. But he wasn't the leader. He was never the leader. You know, that's not how it actually went down. So Logan is like a mix between a Western and a comic book movie. It takes place in the West. It's in the future. The thing about Wolverine is that he's got this healing factor. But because he's got this adamantium, this metal coating all of his skeleton, it's constantly killing him. It's a deadly metal. It's constantly killing him and taxing his ability to heal. So that is what ages him. Without the adamantium, he'd live forever essentially. But because he does have the adamantium, he's got a limited age lifespan. And so when Logan picks up, he's breaking down. He's old man Logan, as he's known. And
is it still the same actor?
Yeah. It's his final portrayal of the character. Like his claws don't really want to come out. They make like an erectile dysfunction joke about that at one point. And like Charles Xavier is there, but he's super old, of course, and sort of has dementia, and his powers are sort of not failing him, but sometimes they'll.
Kyle, tell me if I have this wrong, because I have it different than you, and Kyle's good at this, so I'm not that confident. But I thought the scoop was they like cured or unmutated all the mutants, and because Wolverine had this super healing factor, he didn't get fully unmutated, and that's why he aged.
No, they didn't unmutate the mutants in this story. They stopped new mutants from being born by using the corn syrup, some sort of additive that's in all of the corn syrup products. That's why if you look, there's a few scenes where obviously there's the corn farmer's house where he's being bullied by the corporate corn people, right? That's a little bit of thing in the background that was happening there, where they wanted his farm. They wanted him to grow their kind of corn because it's the kind of corn that gets rid of mutants. It prevents mutants from happening. It's not necessarily, I think, that all the mutants are dead. Or that there can't be any more. I'm sorry.
They got cured. I'm looking for a better word than
cured.
Yeah,
they didn't get cured. They got killed. And I want to say they got killed by Xavier. His powers went. Something happened with his powers where he killed a lot of mutants. Or it could be a spinoff of the House of M storyline where Scarlet Witch literally just says no more mutants. But I don't think that's the case. That's a whole different storyline that's also an alternate path that's taken. But it's a good movie, and you don't need to know any of this horse shit that I'm talking about, Taylor. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's there's a little kid in it, and I dislike child actors a lot. She's very good. She's likable. She has charisma, and she's essentially Wolverine. It's not a big spoiler here, but she's Wolverine's daughter, who was like created by someone else using his DNA, and it's really fun to see them like tag team together. And like try to escape.
Does she have adamantium?
No, she's got bone, just like he did when he was first, before they put the adamantium on him with the X project or whatever.
Can they remove the adamantium from him so he can live forever?
It's happened a couple times in the comics, but it's a very painful process, and it kind of rips him apart when it happens.
Yeah, but he gets to live forever, right?
Well, he doesn't want to live forever.
Oh.
He would prefer to die. Like he carries around an adamantium bullet because he's considering suicide because his existence is pain. It's a deep movie.
This sounds like a pretty good movie. I'll check that one out. Is it on Netflix or anything?
I don't know. It's totally
I'll
worth
check after this.
Very good. You don't need any of the like backstory. Like it sort of retcons a lot of X-Men movies in its own way. So like you don't need any backstory whatsoever. It stands on its own. There's a black and white version that I prefer, but if you don't like black and white movies, just watch it in color.
I'll just watch the regular version.
Yeah. Very bloody, very gory. It's R-rated, so you get some good shit. People getting eviscerated, ripped apart. And, he hulks out a couple times in the movie and just goes just hard fucking core. And he's just like running. He's sprinting past like super hardcore soldiers with guns. And he's just death. And as he is in full sprint.
Is this the one where he is running around in the Civil War too?
No. That he has bone in him for that one. He jumps in a hole with a nuke. Wait, Civil War. World War II, do you mean?
Well, that was the Wolverine.
I only saw the trailer for that one, so I just remember seeing him like fight different eras.
Yeah, there's one of the earlier ones where they show like some flashbacks of his life and some of the things that he's done. So you get to see him in a couple of like wars. But that
What's the lore on Wolverine? How old is he supposed to be? Like 200 or something?
He's Canadian. His name isn't even Logan. His last name's Logan. I can't remember his first name. And he's like 5'3", 350 pounds. And but I think he was born
5'3", 350?
Yeah, something like that.
That is a strong man.
Well,
that's because he's made of metal.
Right?
Is it that's the metal that adds that weight? I think he's also
a lot
beefy.
of it is. He's also beefy as fuck, right?
Yeah.
But I've listened to the entire backstory of his, like there's his upbringing and all that stuff, but I can't think of it right now. I know that he was born in like 1898 or something like that, so he's like 120 depending on what time you're watching.
Could you drown Wolverine to death because he probably can't swim? Or would his lungs be like too healing? I don't know.
He'd just float up to the top eventually and cough up the water.
Yeah, he's really hard to kill. I mean, I think he's been taken down to like a drop of blood and come back from that.
Well, that's Deadpool. That can do that. Deadpool's
they have the same thing, right? They both have hyper.
They call it a healing factor, but there's different levels of healing factor. And Deadpool's got the best in the Marvel universe, it seems. But Wolverine's right up there. Wolverine's been ripped apart and dismembered and stuff. But if you cut Wolverine's head off, he dies. And if you ever were to get a bullet into his brain, he'd die.
You can cut Deadpool's head off and he's okay.
He's okay.
He heals kind of slow though. Like I always like when I watch Wolverine heal in the movies, he comes back in a hurry. Like you shoot him, and while you're fist fighting him, that wound heals. So it's kind of quick. You chop Deadpool's arm off, and 3 weeks later, I'm making the times, but like a week later, he's got a baby arm. He's still coming back.
Yeah, I think some of that's just in the movie for comedic purposes, right? Because they wanted to get that baby arm joke in there. They wanted to get the baby legs joke in there and that sort of thing. I think in the comics he heals a bit faster, but it's made up fictional silliness. But I think the deal is that Deadpool has the best healing factor out of all of them, and Wolverine's kind of in a close second because Wolverine can die. And there's a I've talked about it before, but there's a whole comic book where Wolverine is captured. And there's this girl with him who has these like mental powers where she could free them from their captivity. And he's trying to motivate her. He's like, look, if you don't do this thing that I know you can do and get us out of here, they're going to kill me. And she's like, you can die? And he's like, yeah, there's a lot of ways I can die. And he starts listing them off one by one. And that's a good comic book. She comes to her senses and fucking destroys everybody with her powers at the end of that.
What are your guys like go-to maladaptive daydreams that you just think about stupid shit? I'll think about being in the NHL.
I'm similar, except I'm not just a pro athlete. I'm a superhero on the down low that doesn't want people to know. So I jump higher than anyone you've seen, but within limits of human ranges. Like I'm so fucking fast. No one in the world can catch me, but they almost can. Because I'm not turning on all the way. I'm trying to get a career, and I'm picking my city. I'm like, you know what? Who would really appreciate a championship? The Cleveland Browns. Yeah, they fucking suck all the time. They're rabid fans. I as a benevolent superhero will win a Lombardi Cup or trophy for the Cleveland Browns. That's my daydream.
That's a good one. Do you have like a built-in excuse in there? Because like eventually it's like, this guy's 50 years old. How is he still competing at this level? Like everyone's been saying that. Man,
it works in Hollywood. Dude, I have a strict diet of chicken, rice, and broccoli, and that's why I can do this.
Like every year on ESPN, they'd have like the round table, and they'd be like, one person would be like, "This is the year. Matt Woodworth, he's 50 years old. He's got to fall off. He can't be the best scorer in the NBA." And then someone else is like, they were saying this in 1985. They said it in 95. They said it in 05 and 15, and he still plays. He's the GOAT for a reason. Yeah, I suppose that's right. And they're like talking about you. Yeah, that was so funny. Do you have any of these?
The Hall of Fame.
You inspire lots of other men your age to go into pro sports
to hurt themselves.
What would Woody do? And like a 65-year-old man's jumping up.
Yeah, Woody is like this alternative. Woody is like looking for groups that are downtrodden. He's like, yeah, maybe the election was stolen. I need to get in there with the January 6 people.
When I have my superhero fantasy, I always use it for some like greater evil. Like I imagine myself interceding in wars or geopolitics.
And
like
maybe
the
going greater evil.
I go and like talk to Zelensky, for example, and like have like a conversation with him. It's like, you got a real problem out east, I hear. Maybe I could help. You know, what would be in it for me though? You know, I'd want to. What would be in it for me? Because man, it's a real nice country you've got here. I like the palace here, especially this palace you have here. What's the rent like on a place like this? You know, I put myself in a nice, comfy Ukrainian position. And then I just run ramshot over the Russian military like Omni-Man, right? Or maybe I could help with transportation. Fantasy. I bet I could move those American tanks to Ukraine like overnight, right? It's like, yeah, put them all on a big flat thing that I can carry. You know, I'm Omni-Man essentially.
Well, if he's Omni-Man, he's got most.
What am I making? Look, if I'm when in your fantasies, are you like a C grade superhero?
Right.
Are you Sticky Man or some
Batman,
shit?
And he has to work out constantly.
Yeah, I'm
like a frog tongue, and that's it. Like, get the fuck out of here! I can fly.
I'm that orange guy, like a horrible, debilitating thing. It's like, I hate my power.
I do that too, but like I have this like in this case, I'm Omni-Man, right? like it's super all powerful. And I don't kill the Russians immediately because, you know, they might not be their fault they're doing it. But I can like one punch a tank and disable it. Just rip a tread off. Be like, I'm going to come back here. And if you're still at this, you die. This was your warning punch.
I hear you. But I'm kind of in it for that. So it's why I went to that part of the world. So I would like
profit to be made.
You're not negotiating between sides, trying to get the most possible for your.
I think they need to know. Look. Before we can negotiate, everyone needs to know where they stand, Taylor. And so I need to go make that clear first.
But you're Ultimate Man. So like you could go and
they don't know about Ultimate Man though. I'm brand new.
I thought you were world famous at this point. Man. You just became Ultimate Man.
This is my debut. Okay. Yes, the spider just bit me, and then but simultaneously an asteroid hit me, and scientist hit me with a pool of electricity. It all poured over me. And so now I'm all powerful.
And Doctor, get in here. This man's been having lots of risky gay sex, but we've never seen this before.
It turns out the key to superpower is pause loads. Who would have thought?
It's keeping a low level of syphilis in your system for decades.
Yes.
That's what
I do have a low level of syphilis. The antibodies, they're always present. I can't get blood, and I need to. My red blood cell count, it's too high, Taylor. This is funny, but true. This is funny, but true. I have to phlebotomize myself.
I have a lot of iron.
I was thinking. I know we've done silly superpowers before, but I was trying to think of superpowers that are actively not useful. And how, like, you could still technically get into, like, Professor X's academy on a technicality, but you'd be, like, the lower-rung kid getting bullied by the fire and ice hand people. And a couple I was thinking of, you guys jump in with any think, is that...
Professor Sticky Hand!
Fast-growing facial hair.
Just very fat... Well, like, one I thought of was, you have invisibility, but only when crossing the road.
Professor Sticky Hands His hands are incredibly sticky, and he could totally climb a wall with them. The problem is they're always sticky. So they're just disgusting all the time. And there's all kinds of refuse.
No women will have him.
Like those things you would get for 3 tickets at Chuck E. Cheese as a kid, those hands that you sling. And after one sling, you're like, oh, we don't even have a cat. Like, what is all this shit? Another one is you have the ability to fly, but you still have to go through TSA before you can take off. Super strength.
You're like Magneto, but you have no control over your powers. And so metal objects are constantly you're like a walking refrigerator.
You're always like dirty and dusty with like iron on you.
Yeah. So constantly having things stuck to you. Kids are picking on you in middle school by just sticking fucking shit to your back all the time. And you can't reach it because you're also overweight because of the depression.
Because you can't get the snacks off your hands. And so you have to eat them off.
What about
no.
Deanna Troy's superpower, right? Where I can't really read your mind, but I can tell if you're stressed out.
Exactly. She's the worst fucking character.
Who is that character you're talking about?
Deanna Troy is from Star Trek, and Picard would be like negotiating with the Romulans or something, and she's like, Picard, I can sense that he's nervous. Yeah, that's helpful.
She's a telepath. She's an empath. Uh-huh. But her power, whenever her powers could actually like save the day, that's the day when he's blocking me somehow. It's like one of those mentalists who like when you've like turned the tables on them and they're like, pick a number between 1 and 5, and you're like 1.5, and they're like, ooh, oh, something's blocking my powers. That number doesn't work with the bullshit game that I play with numbers.
The cold reading that I'm doing. Yeah. I'm hearing a ma.
She was
hearing a da.
She's played by an actress called Mariana Sirtis, I think. And the only good thing about her is, 1, there's a movie beforehand where she's topless, so you get to see them titties. And 2, in the first season, she's Counselor Cleavage. Okay, she wears this bodysuit, and she's not great looking, but she's pretty, and it's just camel toe cleavage. I love watching HD Star Trek. I end up jerking off halfway through one of. There's an episode, Mariana Sirtis, I think it's like Mariana maybe.
Okay.
Counselor Troy would get it if I'm wrong about her actual name. I think that's it though. Was I right about her name?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for the topless.
Here you go.
I'm finding her current pictures. She's.
Yeah.
Here she is.
Yep. Got the long curly hair. Got some titties out. Now, if you want the best episode of her on Star Trek, it's the one where she and Dr. Beverly Crusher are doing yoga in like these tight-fitting yoga onesies in some sort of holodeck program, because you have to do yoga in a hologram, of course. No, we can't just go to our quarters and do it. It's the future.
Is there like a space explanation for it? Or is it just like 2 hot women in spandex who need to we need to go to the holodeck and test it. We're going to go to a Zen Buddhist garden and stretch.
There's no explanation.
I've wondered if making them nets higher would be good, right?
Nets higher, court bigger.
Yeah, that make dunking really impressive.
It would
smaller.
Make it smaller too. Make it 3 harder.
There's something to be said for watching them do like ridiculous, making it look easy, doing the ridiculous athletic stuff that they wouldn't pull off on a high.
Let me ask you this: is there a guy in every game who can make plays like that look easy? I think the answer is yes. There's one on every team, right?
A couple.
So is it really that special? Like, wouldn't it be cool if there was like 3 guys in the fucking world who could dunk and make it look slick? Be like, oh shit, here he comes.
It would look like the 50s game.
There's not a guy out there who can't dunk. Like even I bet the shortest, least athletic NBA player can dunk in a cool way. He's not doing that silly double-handed white man dunk. He can do a cool dunk. So I'm saying it's not impressive anymore. I don't care that you can dunk. I can dunk on the fucking 8-foot goal in my backyard, dude. Like, maybe I can't spin, but I'm not getting paid to watch either. like, get the fuck out of here. I'm not impressed. Put that thing up 12.5 feet tall. Make that court 25% bigger in every dimension. And now let's play. Let's see what you can do. And make the goal, whatever you call it, the rim, smaller. Make the ball barely fit. Make it hard as fuck to sink a
Grab
three.
it from a carnival.
Make goaltending.
Don't make it impossible, but make it hard.
You know what I think? Easy. I think goaltending should be legal for your own team. I think that would lead to some fun plays. Like if I could just put it. So right now, if the ball's on the downward trajectory, you can't touch it. Mm-hmm. And if the ball's in the cylinder, I think I have my rules right. If the ball's in the cylinder that the rim creates, like an imaginary cylinder, you can't touch it in there. It has to like bounce out of it for you to get it, or it has to be in an upward trajectory.
I understand.
I think it'd be cool if same team could touch it on the downward trajectory. Then it would be all kinds of like
alley
assists, alley oops, like, you know, wacky sort of teamwork plays that would be fun to see.
I bet it breaks the game with people that athletic. I bet again, if a bunch of us are out and like that's the new rule, it's like, oh, it's a silly version. It's a lot more fun and exciting. But I bet when you take those super athletes who do it for a living and get paid $50 million a year or whatever to do it, they find a way to make that break the fucking game in a way that
like let's say anymore. I shoot a 3-point shot. Now you're athletic guy under the net. You get to decide whether you want to see if my 3 falls or turn it into a 2 by touching it yourself. Mm-hmm. And I wonder, like, we start moneyballing that and seeing how this game develops.
Yeah, well, interesting.
I'm just gonna keep my white stupid ideas to myself and watch MMA because that's what I should do.
Never say that, Kyle. Let those stupid ideas fly. I love it. And you know what? What's funny is like people will leave comments mad about like talking about basketball like this. The Taylor doesn't know anything about that sport. That's true. No. That's a fact. I don't know anything about basketball.
I'm just trying to give you a way to make your sport interesting enough that I would care to learn. Like your sport fucking blows. Like
it's just the most
here's how I know your sport blows. What's the percentage like every time you go down the court, how often is it a score versus the defense making a save? I'll call it. Mm-hmm. You know, like how often is the offense successful when they go down the court?
More often
42%.
Really?
Like
they score. The defense wins more than they lose in basketball.
That sounds right. Well, no, I'm going by shooting percentages, and I'm not counting offensive rebounds and such. Maybe it's higher than that.
Yeah, with offensive rebounds, it's got. I would guess that it's 75+% of the time. I would think it's even higher than that. It seems like every time you go down the court, that if the defense makes a stop, it's like, oh, all right, let's go. It's like a shock.
Not as someone who doesn't watch basketball, like I'll see a highlight and it looks like there's a rule of like, oh, one person on each team is the designated can't play defense guy, legally not allowed to play against the rules. That guy can't play defense. Like that's what it looks like because you'll see like clearly the lower tier players like kind of jog it up, and then you'll see someone who like has nothing but job security like on their phone.
I played
like he's just walking back to the
center. Played basketball on this Pee-wee
on
league.
Their phone.
And I remember playing Pee-wee basketball, and then the guy boop, boop, blew the whistle. I had the ball. I was trying to go score. I was like, what is it? The game stopped. He's traveling. You took 2.5 or 3 steps or something without bouncing the ball. And I was like, but I had it. Like I was doing and I didn't mean to. And yeah, you can't run with the ball, Kyle. And I didn't know. They run with the ball every fucking night in the NBA. You turn on fucking TV, they're running around with that thing like it's football at this point.
I'm not an expert on this, but I saw a YouTube video that really demonstrated how traveling works, and it has changed, like Kyle said. In the 50s, all those players super unathletic, they're dribbling like an elementary school kid, right? Well, that was the rule. You could only touch the top of the ball. You couldn't do this like hold it from the bottom, carry side to side stuff. And I don't know if they changed the rules or changed the enforcement of the rules, but now the kind of handles that a basketball player is allowed to have and how he holds it from the side and you can just do a lot more with the ball than you could in the 50s. So obviously there's super athletes, maybe the best athletes in
ball's
sports,
too small as well. The ball needs to be bigger.
But so they're better athletes, but also the enforcement's different. And that's part of why basketball's gotten so flashy.
That's the other thing I would do. Instead of making the rim smaller, I would make the ball bigger. That's what needs to be done. The ball's way too small.
Make it
heavier.
Like when you're a kid trying to play ball and you're trying to like just do some of the things that you can do when you can hold the ball with one hand. Like if you ever watch somebody like they've like got it like put out over here, they're holding the goddamn ball and they're like analyzing the defense real quick. And
like it's a tennis ball.
Yeah, they're all right. Well, the ball's over here, fucker. You stay over there. I have nothing to think about because all your buddies are over there. All right, I figured this out, and the ball's here, and here we go. Like now I've got a plan. Like, fuck that. Fuck being able to do that, dude.
Yeah, I can't do that even.
Clearly, the ball's too fucking small for your gigantic mitts. Like,
it should be such a big ball that it's hazardous.
And heavy.
No, you're right. I'm sorry. I went too far.
There should be knockouts every game.
Should be you know what? Add fighting. See if that pans out.
I'm just trying to find a way.
Not even fighting, just checking.
Make the sport interesting to me. But if it just seems awful to me. I don't get it. I try to watch. I've watched some NFL recently, and I've gotten more into that because that's like cool to watch. It's fun. I think it's a much better sport. I don't like NFL players.
Downtime.
I don't mind that.
Oh, I do mind that. I get that's what I hated most about
played for an hour, but you're there for 3.
In middle school, like I only played football for 2 years in middle school, and it was up there with baseball as far as like the most boring sport to be playing, because it was, I'm running out for a pass. I'm not going to get a pass because I'm 13, and so it's like everything felt like a drill. Like it's like, oh, you just get to rehearse this again. Either. And then you get to come back and get in the huddle, and then the QB is going to go, we're going to hand it to the fast kid again. Dude, run out again. And it's like, this sucks. This is not fun. Like, I don't even feel like I'm part of the team. I don't feel like I'm helping half the time.
In football, how long do you think they play? Like, I know the clock is 60 minutes.
Oh, dude, I bet 15 minutes.
That's not a bad guess. I feel like they run a 6-second play, and then they wait a minute before the next play, and the clock's just running and running.
Yeah. And
15 minutes is a good bet.
I bet about 15 minutes. Like, what is it? How many? I don't even know. How long are the quarters in football? 15 minutes?
4 15-minute quarters, yeah.
4 15 minutes? Okay. And then, yeah, it's got to be around 15 minutes. Because every time I see football, like at a friend's house, all the time is going away, like in between plays, seemingly.